You should forgive, but do not forget. If someone steals money from you, if someone cheats on you, if someone does something that is genuinely bad to you, you should forgive them, because forgiveness is letting go of anger, letting go of that hatred. It's letting go of all of that energy that you're holding against that person. But it doesn't mean that I'm going to let you back in. I forgive you. I don't hold anger towards you, but I'm always going to remember what you did. I'm going to remember, don't trust this person with my money. Do not get in a relationship again with a person who cheats on you. Don't let a snake around you because it's going to bite you. A snake is a snake. No matter how many times a snake apologizes, it's a snake. It's going to bite you. It's like getting mad at a dog for barking. I forgive you for waking me up in my sleep, but I'm not going to forget that you're a dog. I'm not going to forget that you bark. I'm not going to forget that you stole from me. I forgive you. I don't hold anger toward you, but I'm not going to forget what you did. This is something that a lot of people struggle with in different ways. Using my own life as an example, for those who have been listening to my podcast for a while or watching my YouTube videos or social media content, you guys are already pretty aware that growing up, I got kicked out of my dad's house. A lot of mental health things came from that, and I spent years, like I'm talking years, walking around angry, hatred, frustrated, and I hadn't spoken to him during that whole time. And one day it dawned upon me that if I keep walking around angry and hating and just so much energy against this person, I'm going to waste my own time. I'm going to waste my own energy on a situation that happened. Like, it is what it is. In other words, when you forgive someone, you're not doing it for that other person. You're not doing it so they feel better. You're forgiving so that you feel better. You're letting go of that anger and that hatred so that you're not walking around with all of that bottled up. Because when I was walking around with all of that, I was taking it out on people who had nothing to do with it. I was taking it out on my relationships, on my friendships, on my family, just on everybody, really. I was pouring my hurt onto people who had nothing to do with it. And it's kind of like if a snake bit you and you're going to the snake saying, "Why did you bite me? Why did you do this? Why? I'm a snake. This is what I do." You have to look at people's patterns. You have to look at, okay, this person cheated on their ex. They cheated on their other ex. They cheated on me. This is what they do. A snake is a snake. This person stole money from their job. They stole money from their best friend. They stole money from this person. This person's a thief. This is what they do. And you're not doing it to judge them. You're not doing it to say that they're lower than me or they're lesser than. No, they just are what they are. And over the years of me learning how to forgive people who hurt me, like whether it was people who bullied me when I was younger, whether it was my own, certain family members, learning to forgive people allowed me to free myself from all of that anger. But I don't forget. I forgive everyone. Like, I forgave every single person on that list. But I don't forget. Like I said, if a snake bites you, you forgive it. You say, okay, you bit me. I'm not going to scream at you. I'm not going to curse you out. I'm not going to do any of that. I forgive you, but I'm never going to forget. I'm not letting you back in. No matter how much someone hits you with the, "I'm different now, I've changed, I'm better now." It's possible that they are. But do be aware that if you give someone a second chance, forgive them, but don't forget what they did. Don't forget what happened. And I'm not saying that you have to hold somebody to the standard of something that they did 5, 10, 15, 20 years ago, but it's worth being aware of. It's worth knowing what happened. So, how do we learn to forgive someone? That can be a tricky process because, like I said, depending on what a person did, it can be really hard. If it was something as like really small, like when you two were 5 years old, they stole your juice box and didn't give it back to you, and they drank it. That's tiny. You could just forget that. Like that's y'all were 5 years old and they took your juice box. But when it comes to bigger things like somebody cheated on you, somebody, hurt you in some way, somebody did something major, someone stole money from you, you have to understand that as difficult as it is to forgive, until you do, you're going to be walking around with all that anger and all that hatred, and it's just going to weigh you down. And most people are mad at other people they haven't seen in years, decades even. That was the case for me when it came to all the stuff with my dad, where I had to learn to forgive but not forget. And the way I did it was honestly just sitting down and reflecting on the fact that I have to reclaim my own energy. I have to make peace with the past. I have to let go even when it feels hard to. Because when people say let go, it sounds so simple, but it's not. Because we get comfortable in our past. We get comfortable in the pain because it's all we know. So you have to essentially reflect on how much that anger is draining you down, how much it's holding you back from living a life that you enjoy. In other words, take it like this. For me, what I did was I sat down and I literally wrote out how it was affecting me. Like I wrote out, it's causing me to treat my girlfriend this way at the time. It's causing me to treat my family this way. It's causing me to treat my friends this way, treat myself this way. Like I got really aware of how walking around with anger and hatred, it does you no good. And then I asked myself, how would I feel if I learned to let go? Well, I'd be happier. I'd be calmer. I'd be more relaxed. I would be better in every possible way. But we think that when a snake bites us, we want the snake to know how it feels, but sometimes the snake doesn't care. Sometimes when people get cheated on, they think that I'm going to cheat on them back so they know how it feels. But most of the time, that person doesn't care. So essentially, by trying to make the person who hurt you know how it feels to be hurt, it doesn't do anything because they don't care. And I'm saying this because the longer that we try to make people feel how we feel, the more that we're just going to be a hurt person, hurting more people who have nothing to do with it. Now, to truly forgive, it's an inner process. You kind of have to mentally go within and let go and make peace. You have to look at what happened. You have to look at how you felt. And you have to remind yourself over and over, I'm not that person anymore. I don't have to stay stuck there. I don't have to stay stuck in the past. You might take physical actions too, such as you get rid of gifts or presents that they gave you. You block numbers, you delete contacts, you do things to separate yourself from that old world. There should be no possible way for that person to get back in contact with you. You have to let go of things that remind you of them. You have to essentially get to a point where you can wish them the best. Well, not necessarily wish them the best as in I hope good things happen to them, but get to a point where you don't wish anything bad on them. You don't wish anything good on them. You just wish what happens, happens. You know, if they end up getting married, wife and 3 kids, happily ever after, so be it. I don't care. If they end up having a major life tragedy, so be it. I don't care. Like, you have to get to a point of being neutral where you don't actively wish anything on them. Getting to a point where you realize that you're not trying to make them feel how you feel. You have to get to a point where you're like, okay, the past sucked. Like, the thing they did, it was bad. But I don't need to constantly wake up and pray on their downfall. Because think about how much time you waste doing that. Think about how much time you waste walking around talking about this person did this and this person did that and this person did this and this person did that. And it's okay to feel upset. Like, I'm not saying that you have to not be upset. It's okay to feel that. But when you are actively like seeking them out, you're actively preying on their downfall, you're actively just doing and saying things about them, you're wasting your own time. So forgiving someone is actually so that you don't need to waste your time, your energy, and your mental bandwidth on somebody who you probably don't even know anymore. Most of the time when we're mad at somebody, it's someone that we don't even know anymore. There are people who are mad at their ex for cheating on them, and you haven't spoken to your ex in 5 years. It was 5 years ago. They don't even remember you, probably. Well, they might, but you get the point I'm saying. And of course, you know, there's really tragic, major, traumatic situations that happen. And for things like that, if possible, go get therapy. If possible, go get some sort of counseling. Go sign up for, I don't know, BetterHelp. There's an organization, it's called NAMI, the National Alliance of Mental Illness. And they have free events, like free online Zoom meetings, free community events, thing where you can, you know, get support for traumatic situations. There are, you know, resources out there to help you if, you know, you went through something really bad. But when it comes to stuff like, you know, a friend like a ex-girlfriend or boyfriend cheated on you, somebody stole some money from you. I'm not talking, you know, life savings. I'm talking they took $20, $30, $50 from you, $100, whatever. Something that didn't, you know, ruin your life. Forgive them, but don't let them back. Forgive them, but don't forget. When they say, hey, you know, I think we should try it again, I forgave you. Like, I forgive you for cheating on me in the past. I don't hold any anger or hatred towards you, but I don't forget that. And because I remember what you did, I'm not letting you back. If a snake bites you, forgive it, but don't let it come back. It's a snake. If a dog barks, forgive it, but don't let it back. It's a dog. If a cat scratches you, forgive it, but don't let it back. It's a cat. I hope y'all get the analogy I'm going for here. Because, yes, sometimes people do genuinely make mistakes. Sometimes people do genuinely, you know, they're just upset and they do something that they didn't mean to. But even then, it's important to remember that if someone did something and it was like genuinely a mistake and, you know, they didn't mean to do that, forgive them, but don't forget. Like, this person has emotional outburst. This person lacks self-control. This person they will do things whenever they feel desperate. Forgive them, but don't forget that. Because sometimes a mistake isn't a mistake. It's a character trait. Ooh, that was good. Sometimes a mistake isn't a mistake, it is a character trait. Here's what I mean by that. If someone cheats on you and they're like, baby, I'm sorry, it was a mistake, I didn't mean to. Sometimes it was a mistake. However, don't let them back because that's a character trait. That is a lack of self control. That is a lack of, nobody's gonna find out. That is a lack of integrity. That is someone who can be tempted. That's a character trait. I'm not saying that we all have to be perfect, but what I am saying that when it comes to major things like that, it's a one strike policy. One time and you're out. You don't let someone do something like that and keep taking them back like, I forgive you. They're going to do it again. They're going to do it again, I promise you. Or they're going to do it again, but you just won't know. Because that one time, that's just the one time you know about. If someone gets angry and they start, throwing stuff and screaming and yelling and cursing you out, and they're like, I'm sorry, baby, I didn't mean to, I was just angry. You lack emotional control. That's what it is. That wasn't a mistake. That's a lack of emotional control. And over time, it just only gets worse. If someone doesn't do what is necessary to solve the challenges and things that they have within them, it only gets worse. And it's not your job to save people. It's not your job to try and fix someone. It's not your job to think that, they'll change and they'll get better and I can fix them. You're not Bob the Builder. You're not fixing nobody. So you have to learn how to forgive people for what they might have done. Like, I forgive you. I don't hold anger. I don't hold hatred towards you. I'm not waking up plotting on your downfall. I'm not, trying to cause issues in your life. I forgive you. You did what you did. You said what you said. But I'm not letting you back. I forgive you. I understand. But I respect myself. I love myself. If a snake bites you and it says, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to, it's going to do it again. It's a snake. This is what they do. And once you identify that, okay, this person who I might love, it can be really hard because sometimes the people that we need to forgive are people that we love. And because we love them, we give them chance after chance after chance after chance. And I'm saying this as somebody who's done it. We think that, I'm going to forgive them and, they'll get better. That's possible. It's possible. But you also have to know when to say, hey, I'm going to let God handle them. I'm going to let God deal with that. I forgive you, but I can't fix you. I forgive you, but I don't forget. I forgive you, but I'm not going to allow you back in and destroy my life, to destroy my peace and my progress and my energy. You got to protect yourself. You got to protect your mind, you got to protect your body, you got to protect your energy. And if you know that somebody has stole money from you, why would you let them do it again? If someone had cheated on you, why would you take them back? If someone has hurt you in some major way, why would you let them back? Because I love them and, they're my friend and I care about them. I understand. It's okay to care about people, but you got to care about yourself too. If somebody slaps you, why would you let them do it again? I'm not saying that you have to scream and fight and do all these things. No, that's not what I'm saying. I'm saying that you got to respect yourself. You got to know when, okay, I love that person, I care about them, but they're not treating me properly. They're not doing their part. They're not loving me back. So I'm going to love myself enough to know when to step back. I'm going to love myself enough to know when to forgive, but not forget. I'm going to love myself enough to know that, yeah, I had some good memory with that person. Yeah, that was my best friend from third grade, but things just went south. I'm not going to talk dirty about this person. I'm not going to make them out to be a villain. I'm not going to say how, the whole time that they were evil and conniving. I'm not going to do any of that. I'm going to say, hey, it is what it is. They said what they said. They did what they did. I said what I said. I did what I did. But I'm going to forgive them, so I'm not walking around with any hatred or anger. But I'm not going to forget. Like, I'm not going to forget what someone did, but I will forgive them. And with that said, I hope you guys, enjoyed this episode. Make sure that you like, subscribe, share this if it resonated with you. If you're looking for my books or one-on-one coaching, you can find those links in the description below. As well as if you're a school principal, podcast host, or you're looking for a guest for your podcast, or you just want to contact me for business-related purposes such as speaking engagements, workshops, etc., you can contact me at lawrence@lawrencecharris.com. Have a good one.